Welcome back to my channel. My name is Raeschelle, and if you're new here, I make motherhood and lifestyle videos every single Wednesday. And today's video is going to be all about the Owlet Smart Sock and if it's really worth the money. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. First, we're going to talk about what the Smart Sock is, what it comes with, and what it actually costs. The Smart Sock is a wearable device that goes around your baby's foot, and it tracks their sleep, breathing, and their heart rate. There are thousands of babies that die from SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome, every single year. So this is a way that kind of puts parents' mind at ease, so that way you always know that your child is breathing and that their heart rate is within a good range. And if any of those levels are out of whack, like their heart rate drops significantly or spikes significantly, or their oxygen levels drop, which could mean something is obstructing their face and their breathing, then the base station that the Owlet comes with will start blaring an alarm, and also your phone will start going off. So that way you know that something is really wrong with your baby and that you need to go check on your child immediately. So in the box, you're going to receive the actual sensor itself, along with 3 different size socks, so that way you can take the sensor and put it in whatever size sock that your baby needs. And then it's going to come with the base station along with 2 charging cables, one for the base station and one for the sock. And then you just have to download the app on your phone, set it up, and then you're good to go. The Smart Sock is quite an investment, and it comes in at about $299. And I'll go ahead and have it linked down below if you guys are interested in purchasing the Smart Sock. But I do advise you guys listening to the whole entire video, so that way you can know if it's going to be right for you and for your family. Alright, so now that we talked about the actual cost, what it is and what it does, we're going to go ahead and move on to the different components. And the first component that we're going to talk about is the actual sock itself. And as I mentioned, the sock does come in 3 different sizes. It has a removable sensor that you can take in and out of the sock and put into whatever sock size that you need. And if the sock does get dirty, like my child got poop on hers one time, you can take the sensor out and you can wash the sock. It does say to hand wash only, but I've run it through the washer and dryer a couple times and I've never had any issues with it. So, but that's just me. Not saying to go do it, and if it messes up, blame it on me. And now one of the issues that I've seen a lot of other mothers speak about is that it could possibly be leaving burn marks on your child's foot. I personally have not seen a burn mark. It has left a mark on my daughter's foot on both the top and the bottom where the clear plastic screen is for the sensor, but it didn't look like a burn mark to me. I just believe that it was the imprint of the sock from her wearing it every single night for hours every single night. That's what I believed that it was, but there are other mothers out there that do believe that it was burn marks. I'll leave it at that. You can take it or leave it however you want. And next we're going to talk about the base station. So there are 5 different color indicators that your base station could have. So the first color indicator that we're going to talk about is blue. That means that your Wi-Fi has either disconnected from your Smart Sock or you need to reconnect or set up your Wi-Fi to your Smart Sock. And it'll also send a notification to your phone, and it'll play a song, and it plays it quite loudly. I believe it's Hush, like the Rockabye Baby. It plays the Rockabye Baby song, and it'll play it pretty loudly, so that way you know that the Wi-Fi is not working properly with the sock and that it's not going to be receiving the readings. And then also when the base station is glowing white, that means that your Smart Sock is connected to the base station and that it is charging. The next color is green, and green means good. It means that your baby's heart rate levels are within a good range, as well as the oxygen levels. Those are in a good range as well. Next color is yellow. Yellow means that the Smart Sock is not sitting on your baby's foot correctly, or it possibly fell off of your child's foot and the sock is not receiving readings. And again, just like the Wi-Fi disconnection, it'll play the same song, the Rockabye Baby, and it'll send a notification to your phone letting you know that the Smart Sock is not receiving readings. And last but not least, the red color indicator is the most important one. The alarm will start blaring, your phone will receive a notification, and that means that something is wrong with baby. That means that the heart rate levels are off or the oxygen levels are off. And you need to get to your child immediately to make sure that your child is safe. So those are the 5 different color indicators that you could have from your Smart Sock base station. And next we're going to move on to the app. Personally, I despise the app. It was absolutely horrible in my opinion. Absolutely horrible. The biggest issue that I had with the app was that it would not load. And I'm telling you, I will be sitting there for like 1 or 2 minutes just waiting for the app to refresh and to give me the information on my child's vitals. And it got to the point to where I wouldn't even check the app anymore because it was so much quicker for me to just get up, walk to my daughter's room and check on her there, or look at the monitor and see her chest rising and falling on the monitor. And it's not like we had bad Wi-Fi because everything else in the house worked perfectly fine. All of our devices worked great. It was just the app. And then there were also times where randomly the sock would become disconnected from the Wi-Fi. So I'd have to go in there and completely reset everything. It was just this whole debacle and it was so inconvenient and so aggravating. When a lot of people talk about the Owlet Smart Sock, the first two things that come to mind are going to be your heart rate and your oxygen levels, which is obviously the most important part, right? But another really cool thing that the Smart Sock does is it tracks your baby's sleep patterns. So it tracks how many times they wake up during the night, how long it takes them to fall asleep, what their longest sleep segment is, and whenever they're in a light sleep or a deep sleep. But one thing that I noticed with the app is that it, in my opinion, was not tracking it very accurately. There would be a lot of times where my child would literally sleep throughout the whole entire night solid, not wake up one time, but the app would say that she had a poor sleep quality for the night, that she was in a light sleep the whole night, and would wake up several times throughout the night, which was not true at all. And then also a lot of times it would say that her sleep onset was 0 minutes, which that's not true because whenever I would be getting her ready for bed, that's when I would put on her Smart Sock and then I would put her in her crib, get her situated for bedtime, give her a bottle, read a book, whatever. And it would say her sleep onset was 0 minutes, but she would not be asleep because she would still be awakened with me for at least 20-30 minutes before I actually put her in the crib from the time that I put the Smart Sock on. Another thing was the longest sleep segment measurement. I found that to be also very incorrect as well because my daughter started sleeping through the night when she was around 3 or 4 months. And it would say her longest sleep segment was 4 hours and that she would wake up then, which was not true. This is my first child, so this is the only time that I've ever used the sock or had any kind of experience with the sock, but I have used it for 8 months and I have never once seen an accurate reflection of her sleep throughout the night from the app. Never. But I have a theory as to why it was reflecting the way that it did, and that's because they have something called Dream Lab. Basically, you pay $99, and this is all through the app, and you get access to, I believe, sleep coaches and sleep analysts, and they tell you how you can get your babies to sleep more throughout the night, which honestly, in my opinion, I think is a scam. I've never tried Dream Lab, so I don't know if it really actually works or not, but I think that maybe they could be reflecting the actual sleep analytics kind of on the lower side, so that way desperate new parents will pay that $99 in hopes that they will be able to get their child to sleep through the night. So like I said, the app was extremely slow, and I really don't think that the sleep tracking was accurate. So now we're going to kind of get into whether or not it's worth the money. In the beginning, when my daughter was a newborn, it was super helpful because I was really concerned about SIDS. I was super freaked out about it, especially being a first-time mom. So the Owlet Smart Sock really helped ease my mind when it came to that aspect, because I was able to check my daughter's heart rate and oxygen levels, and I knew that she was fine, and I knew that if something were to go wrong and I wouldn't hear her even though she was in my room, that at least the base station would have that loud blaring alarm that would wake me up in the event that I could not hear my daughter. So that kind of brought me a little bit of peace and comfort. And then also when she was a newborn and she would be sleeping, and I would wake up all throughout the night because I would be super nervous and freaking out about her being okay. Instead of me going over there and touching her and making sure that she's breathing and risking waking her up, I would just turn to the app and open it up and check her levels to make sure that she was okay. And once I saw that her vitals were good and within the good range, I would just go back to sleep and leave her be unless she woke up when it was time for her feedings. So I do think that in the beginning that was super helpful, and it really helped give me that peace of mind that my baby was safe. But when my daughter was 6 weeks old, we moved all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, and so we had to pack everything up and leave. And it took several days, so there were many nights that we spent in a hotel, and we didn't use the Owlet Smart Sock, and we didn't really miss it. We just kind of used our parental instincts and made sure that our child was fine, and like I said, we really didn't miss it. But obviously, once we got settled to our new place, then we went ahead and we hooked it up and we started using it again, which it was nice and it helped us. But once we went that week without using it to travel to the West Coast, and then once we got there and started using it again, and then we started having more and more issues with the app and everything, then it just kind of became a backup monitor for us in a sense. because we already knew that we didn't really need to depend on it because we went that week with being able to survive without it. And because we were having so many issues with the app, at that point, we were just kind of depending on us and doing it the old-fashioned way. By getting up, walking into your child's room, checking on them, by checking on her through the monitor, we were fine without it. But that was because our daughter was a little bit older. In the beginning, when she was like a newborn, like 1, 2, 3 weeks old, I would have been freaking out and panicking, and I would have been up all night long checking on her to make sure that she was okay. So all in all, I do think that it's a great piece of equipment to have for your child. I do think that it is important to be able to track that information as far as their oxygen and heart rate levels. But me personally, if I hadn't received it as a baby registry gift, I don't think that I could justify spending the $300 on it. Because what it comes down to essentially is peace of mind. And SIDS is extremely unfortunate, and it can happen with the sock and it can happen without the sock. I think that the main thing that parents truly need to be focused on is safe sleep habits. I would recommend that if you were still dying to get the smart sock, which like I said, I totally understand because it does offer a lot of peace of mind for a lot of moms and dads out there. But one thing that I would recommend is checking secondhand markets like Mercari, on Facebook Marketplace, and apps like that to see if you can buy it secondhand. The sock is washable, so you can go ahead and wash it and you can use it on your child once you, of course, clean and sterilize it. And you'll save a whole bunch of money, and then you'll still get the great perks of the sock, and you will still get that peace of mind. So all in all, in my opinion, no, I don't think it's worth it, but I do think that you can also still purchase it for secondhand and still get your worthwhile. But the $300, like I said, going back, and if I didn't receive it as a gift, I don't think that I could justify spending that money on it, knowing what I know now. Alright you guys, so that wraps up today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. I do motherhood and lifestyle videos, and I post videos every single Wednesday, so if you subscribe, also make sure you turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy, and I will see you guys next week.